As you probably remember from the last episode, I had given the kid a gift, and we wanted to begin today's episode with a reveal of that gift. Given that it is Halloween, we thought it would be appropriate. Ladies and gentlemen, the kid.
Whoa.
Oh, be careful, you're gonna break a leg, man.
Oh my goodness. Oh man. Very comfy, very cozy, very windy.
That's a tall alien, dude.
What can I say, man? He takes me everywhere. How's it going?
Can you sit down like that?
Absolutely I can. I just put my mind to it.
This is probably one of the funniest things I've ever seen in my life. Careful with your legs, man. And for those of you just listening in, the kid's wearing this hilarious Halloween costume. Yeah, I think you're gonna break it. If you sit down like that, you're gonna break it. You have to deflate it. Go ahead and deflate it on air.
Oh yeah. Oh wow. I'm just getting all my body odor just getting splashed in my face right now. Very Oh yeah. What can I say, man? My alien's obedient. It takes me wherever I want.
That's the best $30 I think I've ever spent, dude.
This is about to be the best 30 minutes I'm ever gonna have, honestly. Welcome to the Father and the Kid podcast. This is just how we roll around here. This is just how we roll.
Good evening, good day, good morning, good whatever it is when you listen. You know what I've noticed, dude? I've noticed that every time I lean back, I show a little like
This is actually very comfortable. I might wear this as pajamas, you know? for
like
just the
instead
rest
of a
the
little
month.
side boob, I show a little side belly. Like just that much.
I remember the days where we used to actually go to the like gym every single day.
I leave everything to the imagination, but just enough to show what's up, you know what I'm saying?
I don't know. I miss the days where I used to blast NF, blast Eminem on the way to the gym.
I love going to the gym. But right now,
Okay.
you know, it's kind of
Obviously, right now you can't get anything done. But I think on a regular day we should definitely, on a regular day, as in, no pandemic, no everything that's going on. We should definitely hit up the gym. I come in here into this house when it's my time to work out, because even though there's no gym, I don't use that as an excuse to not work out. I just come in here and I do my thing. And I'll tell you what, for some reason, like when I used to do push-ups, I used to never feel it in my chest. Like I would feel it in my triceps, I would feel it in my shoulders and my back, but I would never feel it in my chest, and the chest muscles is what I'm mostly trying to build. But today, I like really could feel it in my chest, man. I don't know if it's like the form that I did, or I don't know what I did differently today, but when I would come all the way up on the push-up, I would feel my chest like really contract, and I was very proud of myself for that.
Well, you do know that your pectoral muscles are some of the biggest muscles in your body.
Mm-hmm.
So they actually do take more work to build up than some other muscles, like let's say your biceps or your triceps are smaller muscles. So, you know, even doing smaller exercises, you know, you're going to feel it. compared to the pectoral muscles, which are pretty big muscles in your body.
You all right, man? You look a little dehydrated.
Yeah, he looks a little depressed, or as some people would say, he looks a little deflated. You know what I'm saying?
I've never heard. Ha ha ha! ha, good one, Dad. Anyways, so I just wanted to say, man, this is great.
Hands down,
This is great.
the best $30 I've ever spent.
You know what? The best $30 I've ever spent. I bought a program that gave my computer a really bad malware, and it's the reason why I have a new computer that runs really well.
I've done that a few times. You know, back in the day when I started doing videos and stuff, I had this like really old laptop. I'm talking about this thing was like,
Was it an Alienware?
I wish. This thing was like some HP laptop from like 1972. It was running Windows 95 and had 256 Wow, I can't talk today. All right, let me start it again. It had 256 megabytes of RAM. And then every time I ran Photoshop or Adobe Premiere on it, it would start overheating.
That sounds like any
So
laptop.
I would have to put it on the fridge. I would have to put it on the refrigerator so it would cool down. And then, because it would automatically shut off. Whenever it got too hot, it had this like safety system where it would just shut down. And then I was like, all right, time to cool you down.
It's time to die. You don't get that reference, but if there's any 17 under-year-olds watching this, you do get that reference. Anyways, have you heard of the pod? I think it's a pod. Yeah, it's a podcast. That's like really blowing up, especially on TikTok. It's called Therapy Gecko. Have you heard of that?
Is that the guy that dresses up
Like a big gecko
like a big gecko?
and has people call in?
Yeah.
Dude, that podcast is so geniusly like branded, and I think that's the reason why it blows up so much. And the thing about the great thing about that podcast is that the main guy, the Gecko guy, he barely like talks. He just has these fun, like these hilarious people call in, and like it's a funny podcast, man. Like, I just see little clips of it on my TikTok feed sometimes, and I'm like, this is just such a genius concept. The fact that it has such a strong brand to it. I mean, it's so out of the ordinary to just be scrolling through TikTok and see a grown man dressed as a gecko talking to people, giving them advice on their life. It's so out of the ordinary. It's so out there. It's so like it's so unexpected. I think it's a great concept.
So what you're saying is that we should probably do the therapy alien abduction?
I think that we should mimic a lot of really good podcasts to an extent. I think every time you do something creative, you should always strive to mimic, or not mimic, but mirror the don't even consider it like
it's inspiration,
opposition.
Man. Yeah,
you know,
it's
your it's people who have already figured it out. So why are you gonna go through trying to figure out what to do if you have
all the greats, from Michael Jordan to Stephen King to all the greats in any field, have always been inspired by somebody that was great before them. Up to the point where some of these people use and have the same style as the people that they were inspired by.
Yeah, that's the reason why you have people who you look up to. I mean, but then it begs the question, dude, like for example, I think about this. In order to get your driver's license, at least here in America, for as long as I can remember, maybe it was different when you were a kid, but as long as I can remember, here in America, in order to get your driver's license, you have to have your learner's permit first.
Mm-hmm.
And the way you pass your successfully pass your test to get your driver's license.
Keep talking. I'm gonna get some water real quick.
All right. The way you successfully pass the exam is you have to drive with somebody who already has their license. So my question is, the first person to ever try to get their license, how did they determine that person was a good driver? I mean, if it like who was the first person to ever drive? Like who determined? Hey, this is how you drive. Because why? Because I said so. Like there's no higher authority there. There's no higher person saying, yeah, that's right or wrong. And that really, honestly, that applies to anything, not just driving. Like, who was the first person to decide that something is right, and then the rest of us just kind of went with it?
I think that it went like this. You had a horse, and all of a sudden, they went, hey, if you know how to ride a horse...
They went, hey.
Hey. I kind of want to say a joke, but I don't know if it's like triggering.
Bro, it's 2020. Everything we're saying is triggering.
So
just forget about it.
What kind of hay does a gay horse eat?
What kind of hay does a gay horse eat? I don't know.
Hey.
I got one for you. It's not offensive. This guy was writing a book called 1,000 Ways to Cure an Itch. All of a sudden, the power goes out. He didn't get to save it. His buddy walks in. Hey, the power's out. He's like, what do you mean the power's out? I didn't get to finish my book. The guy's like, what book were you writing? He's like, 1,000 Ways to Cure an Itch. The other guy's like, I guess you got to start from scratch.
Speaking of people being triggered.
Speaking of people being itchy. Very itchy inside here. Very comfortable.
If this episode got really, really popular, how many people do you think would get offended because they were triggered?
Probably every single person.
Because of the fact that you're wearing an alien abduction costume and they were at some point abducted by aliens. And it triggers them to see you.
If you're one of those people, dude, I want you to DM me on Instagram. I got a lot of questions.
If you've ever been abducted by an alien, please let us know. We want to talk to you.
Bro, here's the thing about...
If this triggers you, if this brings back flashbacks and memories of that one night when you woke up in bed and like Skinny Bob was, right there looking at you going, come on, big boy. You're going to get it. Yeah, that.
Is Skinny Bob the guy from the gray alien that's on that cartoon show? What is it called?
No, that's the one that I showed you that they did the video of.
Oh, yeah. But what's the name of the alien in that comedy TV show? The animated one. It's like an adult show. I forget what it's called.
Are you talking about Futurama?
No, that's not the one. It kind of has the same aesthetic as like Family Guy. Is it American Dad? What's the one with the alien?
Oh yeah, American Dad. What's his name? Roger.
Yeah.
That's a funny guy.
Bro, anyways, what I was gonna say is, and this is actually something that I've been wanting to put out, like say, on social media for a long time. If somebody, for example, I'll just throw this as an example. If there's a streamer who might go by the name of PewDiePie, it doesn't matter. If there's a streamer streaming a game and they accidentally, in the heat of the game, say a word that they're not supposed to, that may offend a certain group of people, and then people go online and they cancel this person, and they what was I saying? They cancel this person. They say that they were offended. That person in question who said what they shouldn't have, I think like they have to apologize to all these people who they offended. But my question is, how many people do you think that truly, like when they heard that, they were truly deep down like hurt, like it hurt their feelings, like it really offended them personally? Because my guess is 99.9% of the people who heard a streamer say a word that they maybe weren't supposed to, they weren't truly like, oh, that is like that hurts me personally. I'm gonna lose sleep over that. I think they just wanted something to be mad at. They wanted something to. They think that it might. They assume that it might offend certain people, which it might. Which I'm not saying that it doesn't offend anybody, because there are people out there who maybe particular terms do truly offend them as a person. But I think that a lot of the people who go on Twitter and they cancel these people, they're not offended. They just want to start trouble. They either just want to start trouble, they want to be part of something, they want to start some movement, or they're just automatically assuming that it offends somebody who's not them. And so they just act like that offends them for, to defend these people who supposedly it offends.
Let me give you an example. So I wrote a book, my first book, by the name of The Flawed Ones. And it's a fictional story, but it's derived specifically from my life and from the experiences that I had when I was younger with mental health problems like depression and anxiety. I ended up in the hospital. I had an addiction problem. I met really wonderful people in the hospital that also had severe mental issues. And yet I realized that that didn't stop them from being amazing human beings. The purpose of the book was to show that these people, even though they appeared severely flawed, still had love in their hearts. And because their stories were never going to be shared,
You had to be there, put it out there.
Exactly. I have gotten so much hate over the title of that book from other people.
Oh, because they're flawed?
How dare you? These people are not flawed. They're human beings just like everybody else. You're adding to the stigma. You should be ashamed of yourself.
And you were like, go read the book.
I'm like, you haven't even read the book. You're making an assumption just because you want to start an argument, when the book is meant to show the complete opposite. It's meant to show that the flawed ones is humanity on its whole. It's the human being flawed enough to think that because someone has an illness, they are broken and they're flawed. So the flawed one doesn't mean the crazy people. The flawed one means humanity.
Absolutely.
You have no idea, bro, how many times I've had to explain that. Sometimes I regret naming the book that. But people don't care. They don't care. They don't do their research. They don't read the book. They don't, anything. They see something they hate. They see something they're displeased. And it's not, hey, can you explain further what you meant by the flawed ones? Hey, do you mind telling me what was your idea behind the title of the book? What inspired you to write the book like that? Can you explain to me what the title of the book means?
They always ask, who's Jay Trino? But they never ask, how's Jay Trino? Sorry, man.
That won't hit a nerve. So, yeah, and I mean, it's proven fact nowadays. And, I think I haven't watched The Social Dilemma, by the way, but like everybody that's watched it tells me that it's
everybody's freaking out about that documentary.
For like a minute.
Yeah.
Everybody's like, oh my God, they're stealing our information and they're all this data and they know everywhere. Oh my God, Jimmy's calling me. Did you see what Wendy posted on Facebook? Oh my gosh, she's half naked in that thing. That's
Bro,
crazy.
There's nothing, now that you say that, bro, there's nothing in the freaking world that I hate so much that I'm try as much as possible to be indifferent towards it, completely get it out of my life, is anything like that's drama. Whether it's celebrity drama that's on Snapchat that I see all the freaking time, people I don't hardly care about, and it's made up too. The news titles are like, oh, Charlie D'Amelio's super mad at Lil Huddy.
It's all clickbait, man.
It's all clickbait. Whether it's celebrity drama or like this, I can't say that. Like these people in my school who are always trying to start something, because I feel like I don't feel like it. They enjoy it. They enjoy just being part of drama. They enjoy being unhappy, being stressed about something. Just, I don't understand it, man. I try so hard to keep all that out of my life because that's how much I resent it, bro.
It's an adrenaline rush just like everything else, bro. And once you get used to it, you get used to that excitement. Because the body doesn't know if it's positive or negative excitement. It just knows that it's excitement, right?
Yeah,
and it raises your adrenaline and your blood rushes or whatever. And some people get used to that and they get addicted to that stuff. No lie. And what I was going to tell you was that I think it's pretty well known that the Facebook algorithm studies you. And it begins to learn what triggers you and what makes you upset. And now they know that confrontation and anger makes people engage more with one another. So Facebook literally and purposely shows you stuff that's going to make you upset so you engage. And that's why Facebook sucks balls.
I have never had a Facebook account. I don't plan to start a Facebook account. I have Twitter. I only use it to look at Spider-Man 3 updates. I use Instagram to post, and I don't really scroll through Instagram. And I spend about 12 hours of my day scrolling through TikTok. I'm a happy person.
In order to enter Facebook, you got to pay. Do you know that?
Got to pay to enter Facebook?
Yeah. They take a couple of IQ points every time you log in.
Yeah, that's how I feel
And
about
then you
TikTok.
come out of there and you're like, what was that?
Yeah.
Huh?
Have you ever? I mean, if it makes you so unhappy, why don't you just get off Facebook then? What's stopping you?
Listen, honestly, I wish I could completely get off all social media. The only reason I'm in social media is because, we do this, we enjoy doing this. I have books to market, I got work that I like doing. And unfortunately, and fortunately, we have social media that allows us to connect with so many people in such an effective and quick way that if you want to market anything nowadays and you're not in social media, where are you?
I hear so many people, like Logic is an example, who quit social media for just maybe a couple months, or people who say that they want to, like you.
Hmm.
And personally, maybe I haven't had such. Maybe I think I just know how to use social media so it doesn't make me
Well,
mad.
you were born with it, man. Like you don't
But
know what the
me,
world was like before social
like
media.
social media, it's not like a, oh, I want to get off this. It's like I truly enjoy using social media, and I think it's because I just know how to fix it so it's not. Well, I'm not only seeing stuff that makes me angry, even if it's programmed that way. And I was just talking to your parents earlier because all they freaking watch all day is the news. And what's on the news 24/7?
Why do you think they're
Terrible,
depressed all the time?
terrible, terrible stories. I mean, people, and I don't know why their news channel is so much more graphic and like
More graphic for sure.
terrible than my news station. I watch Fox, and I'm telling you, man.
Also,
Like,
you're a Republican. You're a Trump supporter,
yeah,
right?
yeah. Dude, I watch the weather portion of it and then I turn it off because I just want to know if it's gonna be hot out tomorrow. And let me tell you, man. But from the little that I've seen on Fox and the little that I've seen on their news station, it is so much like
Oh no,
worse.
no, the Spanish news stations. Like if somebody gets shot, like they're talking about a 35-year-old male got shot on 35th Street and 6th. Like they'll show you the shooting.
They'll show you like straight
Like
up.
they'll show you the bullet going through the person and
Dude,
exploding
I
at
don't
the person's back.
understand it.
Yeah, yeah.
And so I tell them all the freaking time. Ask them one thing. Hey, what does Samuel talk to you all the time about? They'll tell you this. I always tell them, please, for the love of God, turn the freaking channel. Why do you watch the news 24/7? I'm like, all you're doing is you're putting that the world's on fire in your mind. And I was literally, just got done with this conversation. I told Abuela, I'm like, I don't understand. I feel like you guys don't like being happy because you guys do nothing but watch these terrible, terrible announcements on the freaking television all the time. How do you... you're either pretending to be happy or you're not, because I don't understand it, dude. I don't understand how you guys can consume all this negative content all the time. When I realize that something is affecting my emotions negatively when I see it online or on the TV, I change it because I don't like to consume negative content. Just like Gary Vee says, if your life is negative, disconnect yourself from everything that's negative. People, content. So I do that, man. I have not one person. I'm so grateful for this. Not one person in my life that's overly negative or is a hinder on my life. And I do not consume any content that makes me feel negatively because I choose to be happy. I swear to God, bro, I think that they don't like being happy because they do nothing but consume and hang out with people who are negative
Now
all the time.
remember also that they have a belief system that tells them that the worse the world gets, the closer they are to a solution.
Oh, you might be onto something. You might be onto something.
So to them, it's like, oh, the world's on fire. I'm freaking out. We must be close to the end.
So subconsciously, they want to keep consuming that. Terrible.
Absolutely.
Wow, I did not even think about that.
And the other thing is, what other options do they have?
Watching something that's not so freaking graphic all the time, man. I don't want to spend all my life on the dark web watching people get beheaded. I don't want to. I don't force myself to just because I want to believe that the world is on fire.
Just like the drama and the adrenaline rush that you get from, being in a dramatic relationship or creating drama. To them, that's their addiction, dude. My parents are so afraid of absolutely everything.
And that's the reason why, because they consume nothing but everything's going to go wrong.
If it was up to Mima, like she wouldn't walk, bro. If she didn't have to, because walking might make you trip and fall. And I love them to death, but this is something that we've talked about with them so many times. It's like you can't live your life in fear because something may happen. But the thing is that with anxiety is like an animal, right? And anxiety feeds off of the fear of other things. So like you said, if you're already an anxious person and you're down and you have a negative lifestyle, and all of a sudden you're feeding that monster, there's no way, dude. There's no way that you're gonna get anything positive out of it. That anxious monster, that anxious wolf is gonna continue to grow and grow and grow because you're giving it the exact food that it needs to get bigger through the news, through the fear,
Bro,
it's crazy,
Abuelo
man.
doesn't sleep more than an average of 4 freaking hours every single night. And on top of that, bro, he's been stuck in his house. He doesn't do anything. And on top of that, he's consuming nothing but this negative news or, stuff all freaking day. I don't know how that man can get out of bed in the morning, bro.
He doesn't.
I don't know, but he does. And he laughs and he has a good time. I don't know how that man does it because dude, if I sleep 7 hours instead of 8 one night, for the rest of the day I'm having panic attacks, bro. I don't know how this man can just get that little sleep and consume all that negativeness through his entire
He's
life.
been doing it like that for 20 years.
And get out of bed, bro. I don't know how he doesn't.
And it's like they're so used to it, bro, that if you try to take him out of it,
I've been trying since I freaking.
it's like trying to get a fish out of water.
It's I get mad at them about it because I care so much about them.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want them living like that, man. They cannot live in fear, dude. I mean, when this is crazy. When I went to the beach with my girlfriend, and I mentioned to Mima that I was with her family, who it was my first time meeting her family.
Mm-hmm.
She thought she told me to be careful around strangers because they might kidnap me. I'm like, it's my girlfriend's family. I was meeting them for the first time. I told her, I'm like, Mima, you cannot live scared of everybody. You can't. I was meeting my girlfriend's family for the first time, and she told me that I have to be careful around strangers because they might kidnap me.
Yeah.
Like, dude,
And it's like that with everything, bro. And at least you get to experience that from an outside perspective. But me being an only child, bro, and the only 3 people that I was around was them, I lived in absolute fear, bro. Listen, the very first time I went out with people where my parents weren't there, I was 16 years old. Actually, 15, sorry.
You went to a movie theater.
Went to a movie theater with some friends from our church. A group of like 10 people, bro. And I had to literally get on my knees and beg my mother to let me go with friends. And to me, that was like the one of the best experiences I've ever had because for the very first time in my life, I felt free.
That's
and
sad,
then
man.
we went to the last scheduled movie. It was like at 11:30. And at 12, my mom was already like blowing up the phone. I turned the phone off. I got here like at 1 o'clock and they were freaking out. And
well,
I was just,
you went to see an 11:30 movie. What did they expect you to be home by 12, bro?
bro, it was a great day. Listen how bad we were, right? We got picked up. We went to Carrabba's. We had a nice Italian dinner. We drove over to Brandon to that movie theater that you guys go to on 60.
Oh, Regency?
Or Regency.
Nice.
And we saw Entrapment with Catherine Zeta-Jones and Sean Connery. Garbage movie. Super garbage. Catherine Zeta-Jones still looked very hot in that movie. Sean Connery. It was great. And I was sitting there thinking, this is my, what do you call it? Like the ceremony, like the tribes do, for like the kids. Whenever like the kids become men, what is that called?
Oh, I know what you're talking about. I can't think of the name.
Man, what is it called? Not induction. Is it induction ceremony?
Something like, yeah, I think
Something like
sounds
that.
right.
And usually like they'll cut half their penis or like an eye gets taken out. Or like they do the head binding thing we were talking about. It's like, oh, that tribe that puts like for the kids to become men, they do that ceremony where they put a glove in their hand with full of fire ants.
Really?
Which is you never seen that before? It's some tribe, I think in South America, dude. I could be wrong. Don't fact check me on that. But what they do is that, fire ants are like one of the most painful, if not the most painful insect bite in the world.
I've gotten bit by one and I freaked out.
No, you haven't, because they're not even here.
Yes, they are, bro. Fire ants? You kidding me, bro? They're all
These
over the
things are
place.
found in South America. I think a specific type of fire ant. I don't know what the freak I'm talking about.
I've
I
definitely
know it's the
seen.
most painful insect bite in the world. Like,
Are you talking about bullet ants, maybe?
bullet ants. There you go. Sorry, I was.
So I'm like, fire ants are all over the place. Bullet ants, those are known to be one of the most painful.
Yeah. So they do the ceremony where they have a glove full of these things, dude. And in order for the teenager, the kid, to be considered a man, he has to put his entire hand.
In the glove of bullet ants, bro?
Yep. Rite of passage ceremony. There we go.
Bro, I saw a video of
So to me, that night was my rite of passage, bro. That was the night where I became a man. That was the night where I said, I'm an individual. I'm an adult now. I can make my own decisions. And the next 2 weeks, I was grounded because I was late.
Really? How come they treated you like that? Like, you must have done something that made them not trust you as much or something, cuz I've never experienced that level of like.
Well, first
they're
of
not
all,
my
they
parents,
never had
but-
that much control over you
Well, I mean,
because they weren't directly associated with you. Also, grandparents, by the time you came along, they had seen the consequences of doing that to me.
yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So it was a little bit different. My grandmother lost a child when it was like a year and a half old. Mima did.
Mhm.
I don't know if you know this.
I do know this.
But it got sick. It had some kind of flu or pneumonia or something, and they put him in an incubator. And allegedly, the nurse forgot to turn the incubator on the oxygen, and it drowned. Like literally, it asphyxiated right in front of him. So that was a death in the family. And then my aunt, which is younger than my mother, while my mother was pregnant, she also got pregnant. And the first time she got pregnant, she had an early delivery. I think the baby was like 6 months old. It lived for like two hours, and it died. Then she tried again, and the same exact thing happened. So we have all this history of losing children in our family, on top of the fact that they're already nervous and they're, scared of everything. So when I was born and when I was the only one around, it was like I was made of glass, and that's the way I grew up. I couldn't do anything. And then on top of that, the religious thing and all that stuff.
And all that just goes to show that you can't blame them for acting that way.
For sure.
It's all they've known.
Yeah.
And that's the reason why I tell them all the time. It's like I care about those people so much. I care about them, more than a lot of people. And I want them to live happier lives than what they're doing. I want Owello to be able to sleep good at night. I know that he won't, but I really would like him to, because I care about him. I don't get any benefit from them being happy, but I want them to because I care about them. I want Mima to be relaxed and be happy with her life and be joyous. I want Owella to stop working for a minute and just be happy. I know that definitely won't happen. But I want that for all of them because I care about them so much. Like I said, I don't get any benefit from that. I want them to be happy because I care about them, and I know that you feel the exact same way. And
it's frustrating because I have tried so many times. Some people are like, why don't you have a better relationship with your parents? And I'm like, I don't have a bad relationship with my parents, but I got to keep my distance because it's so frustrating to see people that you love in that situation.
Yeah.
Willingly. And I don't know if it has to do with their Hispanic heritage, their Latin heritage, with the fact that when they came over to this country, they really had no real guidance, and they made a lot of mistakes. I know it definitely has to do with their religious beliefs, where fear is like the number one thing that you live by. It's a combination of a lot of things, man. And the crazy thing is that I can't really talk to them about it because I will be seen like the bad guy.
Absolutely.
So it's better to keep the peace. It's better to keep the silence. And one of the things that I've learned throughout the years is that no matter how much it hurts you, no matter how much you know that they're wrong, no matter how much you think that they can do better, everybody has to make their own decisions, man. And their decisions affect you as well as it affects them, but it's their decisions. Just like your decisions is going to affect them positively or negatively because they're seeing your decisions through their own lenses. And their own lenses might be telling them this is not right. He's doing wrong, he's blah whatever, you know. And you have to let people make those decisions in life, man. That's why Gary Vee said something the other day. And Gary, shout out to you, man. We're always watching your videos
I
and
know
we're
you're
inspired
watching
by
this right
them.
now, Gary.
I know you're watching this because this is such a popular podcast, and it's just gonna take your algorithm. As soon as we say Gary Vee, it's gonna take your algorithm all the way to the top.
Absolutely.
But Gary Vee has this saying of where you can't do things for your parents, right? Like your parents want you to be a lawyer, and you're like, oh, my parents want me to be a lawyer. I don't want to be a lawyer, but I got to go to college. I got to study because
It's not your
my
parents' life,
want.
man.
You
It's
know,
not your parents' life.
and everybody like they borrow, they put their life aside and their passions and whatever they want aside, just to please their parents. And Gary Vee said something that just hit me, bro. He was like, if you want to resent your parents for the rest of your life, do that.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Because you're going to resent them. You're going to hate them. When you get older, you're going to be like, I am in this hole and I am this unhappy because of my parents. If you want to have a good relationship with your parents down the road,
Do what you
do
want.
what you want to do, respect them and love them, and don't have the resentment that they made you a person that you didn't want to be. That was like an aha moment for me, bro. I was like, yes. Because it's so hard for me, man. Sometimes, even to today, it's so hard for me to still be my own person, to still say, no, 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 this is what I believe in. This is what I'm going to do. Because I know sometimes some of the things that I decide to do breaks their heart. And it hurts me. I'm like, I don't want my parents to be heartbroken over a decision that I made because they think it's the wrong decision. But then I'm like, if I make that decision and I'm unhappy for the rest of my life because I did something or didn't do something that I felt I should have done or shouldn't have done because of them, I will resent them even more. And when they pass away, like every parent will, then that resentment will become regret.
Absolutely.
And regret is one of the worst things that you can feel towards a human being, man. Man, I regretted treating my mom like that. I regretted listening to them on this. I could have had such a much better relationship with them if I would have just followed my own heart. Dude, proven fact, man. You have to respect people's decisions. Doesn't mean you can advise them and tell them, hey, I think you're going the wrong way. Or, hey, I think you should do this like this. Or, hey, maybe you're not seeing things the right way. But after you tell them that, dude, and after they show that they're making their own decision based on that or not based on that, you got to leave them be because we're all to a point free and we got to make our own decisions. And we have to do the same thing. We have to say, and that takes a lot of introspection. That takes a lot of looking within, and really understanding who you are and what you want. So many times, there's so many people, so many entities, so many programs, so many shows, so many famous people, so many influencers. Society itself continually tells us, this is what you want. This is how you want to dress. This is what you want to be. This is how you want to talk. This is how you want to act. That's how it's going to make you happy. And you're struggling, bro. You're putting all your effort into becoming part of the mainstream arena of being cool and, having followers and acting and talking a certain way and doing a certain thing. Because you've been programmed, you've been molded by society and your parents and who knows what else to be all these things. And you, inside your head, you're still going, why am I not happy? I'm doing everything. I'm making the money. I have the cars. Why am I still not happy? Well, because you're becoming the one thing that the world wants you to be, ignoring, probably not even knowing what it is that you want to be.
Absolutely.
Bro, and whenever you realize and whenever you have that enlightenment moment when you're like, oh, this is me. It's the most liberating thing in the world, dude. It's like being back in the float tank. You're just like, you're lifting up, and then all of a sudden people's opinions don't matter. What people think of you doesn't matter. The money doesn't matter. The car doesn't matter. The clothes doesn't matter. The girl doesn't matter. Nothing matters, dude, because now you have found your nirvana. You have found your internal peace. And I know it sounds a little like woo woo or whatever, but if you really work on finding yourself and you really get there to, you're not reaching there yet. You're not hitting that goal instantly. You're just knowing what now your goal is, what your finish line is. You now know this is the race I want to run. This is where I need to go. This is the track I need to follow. This is the way I need to live my life. Just by figuring that out, that's where your happiness begins. That's when your journey really begins. You don't have to get to the end, man. It's all about the journey, not the destination. Take your own journey. Figure out what that journey is. If you want to collect Funko Pops for a living, if you want to have an eBay business for a living, if you want to draw for a living, if you want to sing for a living, if you know that you're passionate about being, a fitness expert, if you want to be a writer, if you want to be a blogger, if you want to be an artist, if you want to be a chef, if you, whatever it is, man, whatever it is that calls you, dude, it calls you. It's not like, I want to be that. Or, no, it just calls you. You know for a fact that, no, that's who I am. This is what I'm meant to do. If you find that moment, if you find that thing that it's like, there's nothing else like this. Every time I do this, it fills me with gratitude and happiness and just a sense of fulfillment that I cannot explain by doing this. I'm not even afraid of death anymore because I know that if I die doing what I love, I'm going to die a happy person. Follow that no matter what.
But here's a question, though. You say all of that, and all of that may be true. But what if somebody wants to follow their passion, but there's a lot of little like nitty-gritty work that they have to do in between that they don't like? For example, if you want to be a writer, let's just say you wanted to be a writer, and you want to chase the grind of writing books consistently, putting out the content, doing all this, but there's like you don't like emailing all these people every single day and doing all that nasty nitty-gritty work in between.
Mm-hmm.
What do you do in that situation? Because then you're not enjoying every part of the process.
And you're not supposed to, dude. Part of the process is sacrificing part of what you are, part of your time, in doing things you don't like to get to enjoy the process. If anything comes easy, if you do everything you love and nothing but what you love, you're never going to be happy either. Because part of doing what you love is a sacrifice that it takes to do it. I'm a writer. I love to write. Part of my process for writing is having a full-time job, because that job is what allows me to invest in my writing time, in publishing my books, in marketing my books, in doing my podcast. All that, those 8 to 10 hours that I spend Monday through Friday at my job are part of my progress, are part of my system to hopefully one day be a full-time writer. Without that, I wouldn't have the possibility. Without that, I wouldn't be where I am right now, which is not very far, but it's further than I would be if I was just writing on a notebook all day long, because I don't have the money to spend on the things that I need. So I go to work happy every day. First of all, because I enjoy my job. I'm very fortunate that I have a job that I like, I enjoy. I love the people that I work with mostly. But also because when I wake up and I'm like, I'm going to work, and I think in my head, I'm going to work, I'm like, I'm going to make the process of becoming a writer. I'm publishing my book right now because I'm making the money that it takes to get the book edited, to print out the book, to buy a cover, to market it on social media, to pay for ads. All those implications are involved in me making money because nobody else is going to do it for me.
That reminds me of you were talking about your aha moment in life. I have to say you provided me with my aha moment in my life, and it was when you told me just that. I've been dying to freaking make a movie since I was freaking as long as I can remember. I mean, do you remember when I used to take videos on your old iPod, on your old iPad?
You have always been.
And freaking.
Since I can remember, you've always been trying to do something creative.
Bro, I have been dying. Like, my skin, like, is crawling. I just need to make a freaking movie. But I don't have everything that I need right now. And you told me that if I work and I make $10, I'm making a movie. I am in the process of, like you said, in the process of making a movie. If I set that $10 down and I say that's for the next camera, that's for whatever, that's making a movie. That is part of the process. And I never thought about it that way, bro. And then when you told me that, it completely changed my freaking path, because I realized that I don't have to be filming or editing or writing to be making a movie. I can just be selling music on Fiverr to be making a movie. And it blew me away, man. And so I'm just saying, when you see me at what's the awards for, like, directors and for, like,
the Oscars?
Oscars. When you see, no, that's for actors. Is it the Grammy? No, that's for music. What's the freaking what's the one that, like, you can win best picture, best?
The Oscars?
Really? Oscars isn't just for, like, actors?
No, it's for everything that has to do with movie making. Directors, producers, music, sound, all that stuff. Everything that has to do with
Well, when you
movies.
see me at the Oscars winning best something, just remember, this is where you guys heard it first. Sam Trino, next director. All right. Infamous Space.
So here's a question I wanted to ask you in the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think aliens are real?
Do I think aliens are real? No.
And do you think that they abduct people?
Yes and yes, but not nearly the way that we think. I think that we're all currently abducted by a higher form of intelligence. I think that we are almost. You ever seen the show Westworld?
Oh my God! Yes.
I think that we're in a Westworld type of reality, and we're just kind of in, like, this little, like, dome, and that I don't want to say alien, like this kind of alien. I want to say higher form of intelligence, some kind of being. I don't know what they look like. They might not be nearly human at all. They might just be some kind of energy, but I think that we're definitely being observed and studied by some sort of species.
Speaking of which, I read an article this morning where this scientist has made this discovery, or at least this is what his understanding is, that he believes that consciousness resides inside the electromagnetic field of the brain and not the neurons themselves. Which I thought that was really interesting.
That is very interesting.
So they are making strides in finding out what consciousness is and where consciousness comes from and how it's created. I was also reading this article where they say that they have found that memories not only get stored in your mind, like I think in the 1970s, if I remember right, they were doing these experiments where they were taking worms, and they had trained the worms to react to electric shocks, right? So if the let me see if I remember this right. They gave the worm some light, and then they shocked it with electricity. So the worm correlated light with electricity. So every time a light would shine on it, it would curl up, waiting for the shock, right? Well, then they would split the worm in like 3 different pieces.
Why do you keep saying worm?
Worm?
It's worm.
All right, man. Listen, if you're gonna make fun of my Latin accent, bro, then we have a problem.
You say it like it's the opposite of cold. Warm.
The worm?
It's not warm. It's worm. Like
worm.
Worm. Yeah, like like if it were spelled W-E-R-D. Worm.
Worm.
There you go.
So then they split the worm. Is that right?
Yeah, it's righter than it was before.
The worm was split into 3 different pieces, and then every piece grew a head. Because, they reproduce. They regrow.
They grew a head of 3 heads?
Yeah, so some of them grew a tail, like a brand new tail, and some of them, they even grew 2 different heads.
What?
In each side. So they
were mutant. They were mutant worms.
They have reproductive systems where they grow. Kind of like lizards grow their arms.
Yeah.
But this worms, like, you split them in like 3 pieces, and they become 3 different little worms, right? However, the experiment was that when they show the light to the three little worms, they all the three little worms curled up.
What?
All three of them had the memory of the electric shock, which means that the memory of that electric shock was not placed in the brain or whatever it is nervous system that the worm had. It was actually in their RNA, which is the what builds DNA.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So it could be a very real thing that a lot of our memories are stored not in our brains or in our genetic composition.
That's very interesting. I've never heard that. That is very, very interesting. You know what I really find interesting is when you look at the what it's like some part of the universe, like a supernova or something. What is it? Some part of the universe. It looks exactly like a neuron in the brain does. I find that so because like tying back to what I said earlier about there being some kind of higher entity. I believe that, but I believe a lot of things. I consider myself a rather open-minded person to a lot of new ideas. I also believe that it's a possibility that we are the cell or a very small piece of a giant being. Like our cells are like the level below us, and then we're like the middle ground, and I think there's also a level above us. I think we're just making up. I think our entire universe makes up a being much bigger. That, like I said before, is nothing close to human at all. I mean, is a cell close to what we are? No. So it's like cell, human, and then something else. You know what I mean? Like cell is to human as human is to whatever we make up. So that's probably more likely, I believe. I think that it's very, 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 very likely. I'm almost 100% certain that we, if you were to just continuously zoom out about 100 times more than what we consider the observable universe, there would be some sort of entity that is nowhere near what we look like or how we function. And I think that being lives in a society, and I think that's what we as humans consider the multiverse. And I think that society makes up a universe of its own that creates a much bigger being.
I have a gift for you.
Yes, of course.
So at the time of this recording, your birthday is on Friday. It's Wednesday right now. So in 2 days, it's going to be your birthday. You're going to turn 16 years old. And I wanted to do something special, especially on the podcast. So I was like, on my way home from work, I'm going to stop by Publix. I'm going to buy a nice little cake.
All right.
I'm going to put a candle on it. We're just going to blow the candles. You're going to make a wish. All that good stuff.
Very nice.
All that pagan stuff that I was never able to do.
Unfortunately, yeah.
However.
Oh, no.
On the way home from work, I completely forgot about the cake.
Oh, no.
So I was like, how do I salvage this? Now I have no cake. And I did buy you some Chinese food, so I guess that makes up for it.
That does definitely make up for it. Absolutely, it does.
So I was like, all right, we'll do something fun. So I just got you a candle.
Nice. I like it. Candle and Chinese food. Honestly, all I could ask for.
There you go, kid. Happy birthday. It's
Thanks.
like making an offering to a saint or a god. Here you go, Saint Samuel.
Very nice.
For health and longevity.
Isn't this the same candle that you used with your date the other
I don't want to talk about it.
Oh, very nice candle.
So close your eyes, make a wish, and blow the candle.
All right.
Please don't get more wax on my table or on my equipment. Thank you.
I want people to like and subscribe. Happy birthday to me, folks.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday to me. Thank you very much, sir. Very nice candle. Very nice gift, and very yummy Chinese food as well. Earlier. On
a serious note, man, I'm very proud of you, and I think everybody else would say the same. Super smart kid.
I also appreciate all the people who say that stuff on the comments on these type of videos, man. I mean, it's so, I don't ever mention it. I know you're always the one that's like, thanks you guys for the support, but seriously, like that means so much to me even. Like, I feel so grateful. Anyways, continue.
I think that a lot of people see you and they're like, man, that kid's really smart. That and you're, I mean, I don't have to say it because if the audience has been watching you for the past 5 episodes, they know that you're extremely smart, extremely competent. You have a great brain. However, there's a lot of people out there that have the same, and probably more than you do, are not great people. But I think that what makes you great and what makes you a quality human being is that you're compassionate, you're humble, you're loving, you're honest, and those are the things. That's the platform. That's the foundation of what really makes a human being a quality human being. Of what really makes a man a true man. And I think that you're young, but you've always had it. You still have it, and if you continue to build upon that, more than anything else, more than intelligence, more than money, more than anything, on who you are as a human being and being true to that, I think that you'll definitely succeed in life. Not at maybe becoming a millionaire or becoming really famous or getting 1 million subscribers or whatever,
But at least being somewhat happy in life.
but at being happy and at peace with yourself, and that is more valuable than anything else in the world.
Hey, man, I appreciate that more than anything, man.
And with that, folks, we're out of here. jchirino.com if you want to learn more about my books and my projects, short stories, poems, YouTube channel, podcasts, all that kind of good stuff.
Infamous based on everything. Literally everything. Thanks for watching.
And remember, if you enjoy the content, please send us money. No, I'm just kidding. Just subscribe. That way you know whenever new shows are coming out.
Maybe still send some money. It doesn't hurt.
I'm not going to say no to money. Money's always nice. But, your attention and your time is more valuable to us than any money in the world. If not, we wouldn't be doing this. So, also, if you have any questions about parenting, if you as a child or as a son or a daughter are going through any issues with your parents that you would like us to talk about, or maybe to answer your questions, if you as a parent, as a father or a mother, are having certain challenges with your teenage son or daughter that maybe Samuel can help you understand a little better, don't hesitate to reach out to us in whatever platform you're in, and we'll be happy to answer your questions. Thanks again, guys, and have a great day.